Einen wunderschönen guten Abend. Herzlich willkommen beim Winzertalk vom Kölner Weinkeller. Heute mit einem meiner Lieblingsweingüter, wenn es um Rosé geht. Das Wetter lädt ja langsam wieder ein zum Rosé trinken. Und damit mich auch mein Gesprächspartner verstehen kann, werden wir jetzt auf Englisch wechseln. Gilles, thank you very much that you sharing your spare time with us. And for the next 45 minutes, we will talk a little bit about your winery, and your wines, of course. And yeah, Gilles, explain a little bit about yourself. Who are you and what are you doing?
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you tonight. So I am speaking from Provence, of course, in the very south of France. I know that we have so many friends in Germany who come every year to Provence, and we like to have them with us for tasting our wonderful wines. And so it's a great opportunity to do that through internet. My name is Gilles Pons, and I started my estate about 25 years ago. It's a family estate. I started it with my wife, Pascal, and we started only on a 10 hectares, very small estate. The estate was bringing the grapes to the local cooperative, and nobody had ever made wine on our estate because the grapes were sent to the cooperative. I have to underline the fact that we are very close to the sea, about 2 miles from the sea, same distance to Marseille and same distance to Nice. So we are right in the middle, in between Nice and Marseille. It's about 35 minutes from Central Bay. So it's a nice place. The climate is amazing. Maybe these days a little bit too amazing, I would say. So it's a problem. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to explain what's happening in the south of France, like in many parts of the world nowadays. Yeah. And so we started 25 years ago, and we had no buildings, we had no tractors, we had nothing. We only had 10 hectares of vines, and we decided to go back to school. We were quite good at tasting wines, but we were not that great at making wines. So we had to go back to school, and we studied during a year in a local school here, specialized in winemaking and wine producing and vine caring. Very good school, and of course we tried to learn while making the wine. So after, I would say, 10 years, I think we understood how to make the wines on our special terroir. The climate is very dry, so we have not that much rain. We are located, as I said earlier, very close to the sea. So this is very helpful because it brings humidity from the sea during the summer, which is great for the ripening of the vines. And this can explain also the difference maybe when tasting our wines and comparing it to the rest of Provence. We are in a very special place. I would say, of course, the other people in Provence, my colleagues, winemakers, are making incredible wines also, but I would like to insist that the Lalonde village where we are is a place where we have this amazing climate, the humidity, the heat, and the schist soils, and the combination of all this is making a very special place. And we received a special denomination called Lalonde, Côte de Provence Lalonde, and soon to be Cru Lalonde, because the French administration called INAO, which is in charge of giving the special denomination and appellation to the fields of vines everywhere in France, is working on giving us the Cru Lalonde appellation. So this is a lot of work, of course, from all the winemakers in Lalonde, all good friends, also making great wines, and we all together went to the French administration and tried to have this recognition of this very special place. Because Provence, of course, is a huge place. We are 600 winemakers. We have about 40 cooperatives also. So we need to get some differentiation. It's 20,000 hectares. So, and almost 1 million hectoliters of.
I mean, there is many changes going on. I think overall in France. I mean, even Bordeaux, in southern France, really, I think adapting to climate change, or in your case, more really showing that your particular region produces stable, higher quality than other parts of Provence. Or I should not say more quality, I would say, and unique character, as you said, due to the schist soil, due to the terroir, to the position. But moving back the years, I mean, now Provence, especially for rosé, is a really, I would say, thriving market. It's going crazy. It's really. But when you started I would say nearly at the beginning of 2000 or something like that, how was Provence there? So what changed over the years?
Well, I started in 1997, so it's a little bit more than 25 years ago. And to be honest, 25 years ago, rosé from Provence was not as fashionable as it is today. And what happened is that I think a lot of things happened. The first thing I would say is that the winemakers in Provence realized that they had something amazing in their hands. That they could do much better. It was a new generation also coming, sometimes the daughters or the sons of previous winemakers, large families owning large estate in Provence, and realizing that they could do much better. And it was easy money at that time, where people were just staying by the road and waiting for the tourists to come and buy some rosé. But it was very local, and let's say when you guys from Germany are going back home and you don't find any rosé of quality at that time. This has changed a lot. So there was an amazing work done on the quality of the wines, and also on making, like you just said, very authentic wines in the different parts of Provence. You have Bandol also, which is different. You have Côte d'Aix, you have Côte d'Ivoire, you have everybody just specialized in making some very authentic rosé. The second thing is that the way people were having meals, the aperitifs, the snacks, the way people are eating today, it's not like a classic dinner or a classic lunch. People are sometimes they like to socialize, and they go to, birthday parties in general. And they realized that the rosé was the perfect fit, the perfect pairing for all the snacks, all the little food that the tapas that you have in the socializing events. So this and the fact that a lot of people were coming to Provence as tourists and going back home to California, to New York, to Hong Kong, to all parts of the world, to Munich, whatever. London, and they said, well, this was great. We had some great time. We had some bouillabaisse, we had some salad niçoise, we had some great rosé, and we wanted, so they went to the supermarkets, they went to the wine shops and asking, can we get this rosé also in our countries? And then so many tourists came to Provence, and the rosé was much better at that. I mean, much better than the Ricard, the pastis. Yeah. I say Ricard, it's a brand, but the pastis, which was nice. I mean, it was great to have an aperitif with a pastis, but this kills your food. So it's great, but you can't have it during a meal. You can have it as an aperitif. Rosé was so versatile, so you can have it with so many dishes. So all this made the success of rosé, the quality, the people who they were coming to as tourists in our region, and also the way the food changed. and rosé was the perfect fit with the new way people are eating.
Yeah, no. It seems that Provence only is now, as we talk about, we both know that Provence offers much more than just rosé, and I think it's a perfect time to start with our only white wine, and then we're heading to the rosé. How much share does white wine production make on your total account? So how many?
In Provence, white was traditionally it was a very, very small production.
Yeah.
And in the last 3 to 4 years, it is starting to be bigger than the red from Provence.
Okay.
So this is really new. This is really recent, and I think we realized that we can make some great white wines. And for example, at Château les Valentines, we make about 15% of our whole production in white wine, and the rest of Provence is about 5%. So we believe in white wines a lot, and I think that people who love to drink our rosé, at one point they want to try the white. It's a blend of Uni Blanc. We have very old Uni Blanc on our estate, more than 100 years old, and we blend it with Clairette and Vermentino. We do a skin cold maceration of the Vermentino and Clairette in the Uni Blanc juice.
Okay. And you write Blanc de Blanc on the label. I didn't know that this is legal outside for not sparkling wines that you can write.
Yeah, you can. Nobody prohibits you to say that it just says that the grapes have a white skin.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when I take a sniff on this wine, it's not jumping out of the glass, but you really feel subtle, floral, right, decent aromas, which are very deep and very, I would say, concentrated. Maybe not intense, loud, not as aromatic Vermentino thing, but it's much more, I would say, really this pear, hay.
Yes, I think. It's not like a lot of people here in Provence make white wine with 100% Vermentino.
Yeah,
I think it can be great. I think it's a very
sure.
impressive. It's very impressive when you first open the bottle, and it's a lot of perfumes, a lot of flavors coming out. But to me, the way I'm making wines that I like to drink.
Yeah.
So I'm not making wines for the market. I'm trying to make wines that I like to drink, and I hope that there are people in the market who share the same taste that I have. So I love the Vermentino, but I think that when it's 100% Vermentino, it's too much. I mean, we need some delicacy. We need some complexity, and that's why we decided to do this skin coat maceration with the Uni Blanc and the Clairette.
I mean, this on I just tasted the wine, and for me this is a really good example, because Uni Blanc for the people who are not that familiar with names of grape variety is called in Italy Trebbiano, and Trebbiano di Lugana, classic Lugana, or in Trebbiano d'Abruzzo, which is quite different, but to the Lugana it's much more intense, but you really feel that the age of the wine gives the Uni Blanc structure and this kind of, for me, chalky texture, which I really like, because it's so comfortable. It's perfect balanced with food, with fish. I really can imagine and grilled fish with that, really catch from the sea on the grill, and then you get the smoky aromas, but you get the saltiness from the seawater, some seafood. This wine with that, 100%. And it's so interesting when I really tasted the wine, I really thought, unfortunately we do not have the sun of Provence here in Cologne. Today it's a little bit more gray and windy and cold, but you really feel that this wine comes from a place where the sun or the cold climate is a little bit more mild, and it's much more. It really sets you back to holiday, and it's really good wine.
I mean, thank you. I mean, all the three different grape varieties are doing their job, and the Uni Blanc, as you said, is the structure of the wine. It gives the structure of the wine, and then the Claret and the Vermentino are bringing the flavors, and the Uni Blanc also help your white wine to age in time. Uni Blanc, when it's a young vine, it's not that interesting. The grapes are not so interesting, but being, we are lucky to have this 100 years old, 113 years old vine parcel. This helps us make a nice wine and a balanced wine, as you say.
Yeah. It's really lovely made, and you really feel that this one you can drink, you can use for nearly every occasion. I think even as aperitif for people who really want to have some structured wines. Maybe it is not the fresh, fruity, easy drinking thing where you have just the aromas coming out. This is maybe then not the right wine for this occasion. But I would say if you serve something for aperitif, this wine is perfect for nearly everything. I think what you can. It's really goes with meat, goes with fish, goes with vegetables in every kind, in every way of preparation. I would also imagine this one with a selection of sashimi with some soy sauce and this texture. Perfect. It's a lovely wine.
Yeah, well,
I have to keep it in mind.
You just mentioned some Japanese dishes, and I know they are so popular right now. Of course, with the new generation, and that's great. And I had recently a tasting in Tokyo, and we did a pairing of sashimi with rosé, and the white went along very well with tempura.
Yeah, lovely. I really can imagine that.
This was a perfect pairing.
Yeah, that's. I always like to say good wine gets along with nearly every food. The food will be more suitable to the wine after some time. No, it's very well done, and unfortunately, I really tasted those wines way too less that I should. Because it really feels that, hey, there is so much value in this wine, and therefore I will definitely put it more on my recommendation list, because Rosé, Provence, everyone knows now, it's a big thing, but the whites and the reds, of course, as well, they are really good money value wines. And
we are not talking about the reds tonight, but I just want to say that we have such a great selection of red wines that are amazing with pairings.
Yeah, we I think just was 2 weeks ago we really released the red wine again, the new vintage of rosé, the new white wine, and so on and so on. So we really have now in this change of the vintages, and I know that they are selling always well. And I mean, the people know your brand now. Our customers know you, and really appreciating your rosé. And I think when they once tried your rosé, which we are now going to, which now going to try, they will not go back maybe to some bigger names or something like that. As you probably know,
Well, I don't want to be too mean on bigger names, but I have to underline the fact that we are one of the last family estates in Lalonde. I have a few colleagues, of course, who still have family estates, but in this area, in the south of France, we've had so many big actors, the usual suspects, the guys who have a lot of money, big brands buying out Provence. I would say in the last 3 years, LVMH bought 6 estates in Provence.
But I always like to say we always should give them credit, because they are putting Provence on the wine list. They are putting an eye on Provence. But then it's our job to really say, yeah, you can buy this, and it's perfectly for an occasion for 80, 90 people, and you want to suit and you want to do the brand name. but come back if you want to taste a different style of Provence, because for me it is different. I think those fashionable wines who are quite successful in the recent years, they have their place, but it's a completely whole different idea of what Provence can offer. And
no, I agree with you. I am grateful. To be honest, I'm extremely grateful to these big companies who have bought a lot of estates in Provence, and they are doing a very good job. And it's amazing for us because it's great that Provence is now famous all over the world. Also because of the job or the money they are putting in marketing, in communication. So no, we are different. I think they came for rosé, and because I think rosé was an opportunity, it was a market opportunity, and I'm always saying people are coming to us because we are winemakers, and I'm not only making rosé, and these big brands they only make rosé. So you see the difference. We are different because of that. You can come to me and you can meet me. If you want to meet somebody in the big guys, I don't know who you're going to meet. You're not going to meet Brad because Brad is really busy right now. So
but I mean, this is something what you can see all over the world in the Champagne region. I think it's really extreme that due to the success of the big names, the upcoming wine growers or the winemakers who are always produce great value, really now get this kind of shining years where they really can sell their small estate champagne, and I think it's the same like in Provence.
It's exactly the same. We had this discussion in Provence with your team, and I said there's an incredible success of the Champagne de Vigneron. Real winemakers champagne, not big brands. And I just registered a new brand called Rosé de Vigneron, and I think this will make the difference with the big brands.
And this is what I actually want to go, because I've now getting the glass and I wanted to get a little bit warmer. This is not this tropical, this kind of pungent fruit, very easy. So of course it's more fruity. Of course there's much more, but much more going on. But not artificial fruits. It's very subtle. And you have this kind of particular smokiness to me, which reminds me a little bit of licorice, so something like this, or a burnt rosemary or something like that. So you have this kind of burnt oil thing, but very delicate. And this gives really depth, and it's not that just those ripe peaches or something like that. What you always get actually, or what sometimes you get from the Provence rosé.
The fashion right now, the trend is to have Provence rosé which tastes grapefruit, pink grapefruit. But we are not making fruit juice. We like to have something more complex. So what you just felt with the rosemary, with the thyme, with the local dry herbs coming from the hills, that's what you feel today. There is some peach, but there is also some ripe apricot. The fruits are really ripe. And there is complexity and there is length. And at the end, when you taste it, you will feel a bit of salinity coming from the humid, salted air that we are receiving on our wines.
This is actually what I really love. This wine is elegant, but it stays so long on the palate. And it's never overwhelming. It's very straightforward, and you really, after on the finish, the salinity, and you really, I mean, I'm struggling to talk and not to swallow my how's it called? Doesn't matter.
Say it in German.
The Speichel. It's the lima, I think it's called in English. I'm not so sure, but it doesn't matter. But this is really something where you want to have another sip, and it's not just easy drinking, because it's still on the palate. You really feel the structure, you feel all the aromas, and it's really, this is what I expect from a high quality rosé, that you have everything together in balance. And with those typical aromas you mentioned, this herbs de Provence, something like that, of course, but as well the structure and the fruitiness. And which grape varieties do you use for this rosé?
Well, the classic blend in Provence is mostly, I would say, Cinsault and Grenache.
Mm.
You also have a lot of people doing Grenache and Syrah, but we try to make delicate and elegant wine, and I think that Grenache and Cinsault is the perfect blend, and we try to do a co-blending vinification. Like we have the Cinsault and the Grenache fermenting together, which I think will make a balanced wine. And also we add a little bit of Syrah, a little bit of Mourvèdre. This brings the complexity.
Yeah. No, that's and this also grows on the schist soil you mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah.
So, okay.
This brings the schist will bring the minerality and the spices.
Yeah.
Because you can also find a little bit of spices of pepper in when you taste the wine.
Yeah, very good. It's very, really lovely wine, and I mean, this is a perfect rosé for the summer when you're doing barbecue and you want just to match I mean, there is, I think, nearly not something which goes along with that. Maybe the deep, highly smoked barbecue spare ribs. Maybe therefore it's not strong enough. But I would say if you do just a grilled pork chop or something like that, or I mean vegetarian kitchen overall, when you have some pepper bells roasted or something like that, or mushrooms, something like that. So really you can really play with this wine. But what I wanted really to ask you, and now I would say we are not talking about the liquid, we're talking about the bottle. Since when does Provence have this, I would say, unusual bottle shapes? Because I think Provence is the wine growing region with the most diverse bottle shapes, because there are really fancy bottles out there and really unique style. Do you know since when this developed, and why did you go for this shape?
Well, the thing is, we have a lot of freedom in Provence to choose and to design our bottles. So I think that there was a lot of people like me, I mean, coming to be a winemaker, because we loved the place and we loved, drinking wine, making wine, tasting wine, and we were not initially from Provence. Yeah. And so there were a lot of people coming. Means that we have some people coming from Germany, coming from the States, coming from England, coming from all regions of France, who are not doing, who are not winemakers when they first started in life, and not belonging to big winemakers families. So these people, and I'm including myself, we felt we had a lot of freedom to make different bottle shapes. And it was not, Provence has never been a traditional region like you might find in Burgundy or Champagne or Bordeaux. And so you have this movement in Languedoc, and you have this movement also in Provence. It's just one way of trying to be different from the rest of the market. And by the way, the bottle you showed is the bottle we created 5 years ago, and this is our own mold. Château Valentines is written in the bottom of the bottle. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. So it's really here on the
Okay. And on the top also. And it's our own bottle. And by the way, I would like to underline the fact that the estate is totally organic certified, which is something I think is very important these days to say. When we first started 25 years ago, it was not fashionable to be organic, because you were going into a wine shop, in France, in Paris, and asking for an organic wine. People were laughing at you, because the idea was that organic was bad, it was bad taste. So I think things have changed a lot for the best.
It's really, really crazy how, I mean, it's definitely a very, very good movement, and it will keep on. So there is no going back, I think. and how really the perception of organic farmed products, I would say in general, but especially in wine, where the people will say, I mean, even I can remember, and now I'm 30 years old, when I started drinking wine with the legally age of 16, of course.
We don't want to know.
Yeah, no, it's no. We were also joking about those organic wines, and and I would say some of them really did not taste good, and you really have to manage taking care of your wines. And I'm born in Austria, in Styria, and there you really have much more problems with the mildews. I mean, in your region, it's raining in the winter, I think, and maybe winter mainly, and in the summer it's actually quite good dry. And I mean, organic farmed wines, or I mean, you nowadays, you really, if you talk to winemakers, they say, okay, the wines are more stable. And I had several occasions where I really can compare organic farmed vineyards to conventional farmed vineyards, and it's a drastic change. And that's if you see the vineyard, you will always go for an organic farmed wine. If the conventional, I mean, there are also conventional winemakers who are doing a great job, and then they are really saying, yeah, I would convert if the management of mildew would be easier, because I think this is really the key thing why many people are hesitating to convert to organic. But so you started right at the beginning with the organic. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So it's really pioneers work.
Yeah, I think that this is the only way to work.
Yeah.
I can't see now that we know what happened before.
Yeah.
So we need to change that. I agree with you. We are lucky because when we are in the south of France, I know it's difficult from the people from the Loire Valley, people from Champagne, even in Bordeaux it's difficult. In Bordeaux, with all the ocean weather, it's not easy. So when you grow vines in a region where the climate is pretty dry, you have to go for organic.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. But that's also quite an interesting development in general. That I would say now. I mean, we at the Kölner Weinkeller, I would say if the wine is organic, it's easier to sell. The people are saying, yeah, okay, it's organic. I'm willing to pay more. 10 years ago, this would be impossible. The people, and I think now that people are changing, and I mean, the people are willing to spend more money on a bottle of wine if it has high quality. So the people are drinking less, but better or higher quality. And I mean, and now we will. I think that's a perfect example when we're talking about higher quality. I really wanted to taste this wine and really to discuss this wine, because I know this wine, of course, but for me, this is one of the best rosés I have ever tasted, and now I will pour it myself and reconvince myself. But what is your La Grande Cuvée?
La Grande Cuvée is a very special blend that we are making from our oldest vines on the estate, and with only two grape varieties, the Château, of course, and the Mourvèdre. Mourvèdre being the number one grape variety from Vendôme.
Yeah.
And I think this is a very interesting blend. When you do that with your oldest vines, there is an amazing balance between the Mourvèdre and the Château. The Mourvèdre has, the structure, is the structure of the wine, and the Château is bringing the delicacy, the elegance to the wine, and it's a perfect blend. And since the vines are really old, almost 100 years old,
wow,
for the two grape varieties, we decided to make a very, very special cuvée called La Grande Cuvée.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah, it's a gastronomic. It's a gastronomic rosé.
Yeah, I mean this one, when you compare it to one before, is a completely other level. You mentioned the balance, you mentioned the aromas. For me, this is much more darker in fruit. You have much more the blackberries, much more the blue nut, but blackberries more mainly. And you're really feeling that this wine has a lot to offer, lots of structure, and it's again not overwhelming from the glass. It's not pronounced in aromas, but the elegance and the deepness of this wine is even in the nose recognizable, and this is really good.
Thank you. I'm happy when people think that. And you have the salinity also. You have the salinity.
Yeah.
The salinity.
I mean, and you have this.
The salinity is great because when you drink a rosé wine with salinity, when you finish the first glass, you just want to have a second glass.
and I mean, what's also, let's say, another feature of this wine, it has much more. I mean, I would not call it especially tannins, but you have this kind of smooth and this kind of chalky texture, the salinity which you have, which really gives when I drink this wine, when I taste this wine, I definitely want something to eat, because it's saying eat something with this wine, and it's even getting better.
Yeah,
and this is the best thing what you can do, or what the wine can
it's full bodied. It's rich.
Wow.
It's you know, if you drink it blind, you think it's a white.
Yeah.
You could think it's a white.
Yeah, from a black glass at this temperature, it's very difficult to go for rosé. And I think if you would do that, there would be some high quality guesses. We'll see some high quality guesses from some region of Europe where you say, okay. And then if you do that's a very good idea, and I will do that next time with my colleagues.
I think so. You should. You should.
No, I think that's the best thing what a wine what a rosé can offer for me. This is, I think there is not really much what it can get better. It can get different, but in terms of quality, balance, depth, complexity, everything together, very well done. But you know that, of course. It's not. I'm not the first one who are telling you this, I think. But you are mentioned before about organic farming, and that's the only way to do it. And when I think the last years really showed that the Mediterranean really struggled in terms of climate change. What's going on there? Were you also affected by the bushfire, by the fires in general, or there was nothing?
No, we had a fire about 6-7 years ago, which was very close to the estate. But since then, everything is going fine. No, the only problem is the lack of rain. Fortunately, we had a little more rain this year than last year. Last year was really dry.
Yeah.
But we are more lucky than our colleagues from Languedoc, for example. Close to the Pyrenees, you know, the mountains close to Perpignan. The place there is really dry. Montpellier, for example, only had 70 millimeters of rain since the beginning of the year. So it's bad. It's really bad. We always look at the statistics after the last harvest. So since the last harvest, we are now 433 millimeters from last night. So it's not great, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, even in Germany, the people saying this year, I mean, rain is enough for many. I mean, it's not in every region, but in general, it's okay, and it's much less sunny in the spring, so there's less evaporation. So I think this year won't be a big problem. But we all know, if there's one year which is going good, we had the recent vintages 18, 19, 20, and it's very interesting how everything will develop in future. Yeah, it's crazy times for the wine world. I like to say, but I would say there's always opportunity as well. So I'm trying to stay positive always.
We are trying to.
Yeah. And
we
it's
need to.
coming back to wine. It's super interesting when you leave that wine a little bit longer in the glass, how it really open it. Because I just poured it, and this is really, you really feel this wine needs air, this wine needs temperature, and then it's getting much more elegant, and it's even it's much more strong. It's really, really fascinating.
Yeah, the Mourvèdre grape variety is the grapes that help the wine to age well in time.
Yeah.
So you can really keep this rosé for some years.
Yeah. For how long would you or your experience?
My experience that I like to drink sometimes some old rosé, but I know that I will go for the old rosé for different reasons.
Yeah.
Then a lot of people go for rosé. When you go for rosé, it's like you like something fresh, you like something fruity, you like something that goes with the sun. But if when the rosé ages, you are losing the freshness and you're getting some more I would say ripe fruit, nuts, and this would pair so well with some desserts, some apple pie, for example. And rosé would be amazing. I was an old rosé, like an old like en cuvée.
Yeah, I mean I think there's a general misconception that rosé wines can't age. I think many of them are made just to be drunk very young, but I would say for
a majority
4 or 5 years.
Well, we don't have much tannin, so a majority of rosé will not age so well.
Sure.
But when you have these kind of very old grapes, the way we vinify it, and you can age them.
Yeah. And I will definitely, I would say, especially the Grand Cuvée, for 1 or 2 years in the cellar, I think it will even develop a little bit more complexity and really show much more. Gilles, thank you very much for your time. It was a very brief overview about Provence and what you're doing and about your philosophy. And I've got the possibility to taste great wines, and tomorrow my colleagues will taste those wines also.
Excellent.
So thank you for your time, and Ihnen darf ich auch vielen lieben Dank. Ich darf mich bedanken, ich darf keinen Dank wünschen, ich darf mich bedanken bei Ihnen, dass Sie zugeschaut haben. Und in einem Monat geht es wieder weiter. Am 15.06. gehen wir ins Burgund, die Domaine de Terre de Velle, mit Sophie Larose. Und dann sprechen wir über ein ganz anderes Klima, ganz andere Weine, aber nicht unspannender, würde ich mal sagen. Gilles, thank you very much.
And, thank you very much to you. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And yeah, if we not see us in Cologne, I will come around because
yes, you're most welcome.
And trip to Provence is always nice. Nice food and nice wines and nice people. That's what you're looking for.
Thank you. Thank you for being such a good ambassador of our estate. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.